Bethany handed me the church scheduling printout at dawn in my sanctuary office. 32 Tuesday nights, Lindsay and Caleb, alone, while I led evening Bible study downstairs. I'm staring at it now. The paper is ordinary office stock, but Bethany's highlighter marks bleed through from the back. Yellow for Lindsay's entries, pink for Caleb's, orange where they overlap. 32 blocks of time, all circled, each entry identical. Tuesday 8:10 ears p.m. L. Shepherd. Plus C. Pierce, Youth Building Conference Room, Ministry Mentoring. Every Tuesday night for 7 months, Bethany says. Her voice is shaking. She's our church administrator, been here 12 years, never once brought me something like this. While you led Bible study downstairs, Pastor Michael. Every single week. The sanctuary is empty at this hour. Just me and Bethany and the morning light coming through stained glass, throwing colored shadows across the pews where 4,200 people will sit tomorrow, where my daughter Emma will lead worship, where my wife Lindsay sits in the front row every Sunday, hand on her pregnant belly, glowing. I set the printout on my desk. My grandfather's Bible is beside it, ancient brown leather, spine cracked into a spider web of lines. I was reading the family tree when Bethany knocked. 5 generations of preachers, all written in faded ink inside the front cover. James Shepherd, ordained 1921. My father Daniel, 1973. Me, 1997. And I'd been about to add Emma's wedding entry. Married in grace and truth, July 14th, 2025. Ray needs to see this, I say. My voice sounds strange, too calm, like I'm underwater. Bethany nods. She's already called him. Ray Foster, my associate pastor, my mentor for 25 years. If there's an explanation, he'll help me find it. But I'm looking at the printout again. The repetition is hypnotic. Week after week after week. Lindsay and Caleb. Tuesday nights. There's more, Bethany says. She won't look at me. The email system. I only checked because, Pastor, they sent each other 127 messages marked confidential. I shouldn't have read them, but the first few were about ministry strategy. And then, she trails off. Show me, I say. We preach about truth in this pulpit. Radical, uncomfortable, life-changing truth. The kind of truth that costs something. That's what I taught Emma. That's what I've built this church on for 18 years. Now, I'm about to find out if I meant it. Later that morning, I'm sitting at our kitchen table. Lindsay is making coffee. She's humming, something from the radio, light and happy. She's wearing her favorite blue cardigan, the one Emma gave her for Christmas. Her hand drifts to her belly every few minutes, that unconscious gesture all pregnant women make. Michael, you're up early, she says. Couldn't sleep? Just thinking about the wedding, I say. It's not a lie. I am thinking about the wedding. Emma and Caleb, 3 weeks away, my daughter walking down the aisle to marry my wife's... I stop that thought. Emma's so excited, Lindsay says. She sets a mug in front of me. Her wedding ring catches the light, the one I gave her 9 years ago when we married. I've been helping her with the final details, the flowers, the cake tasting notes. Did you know we found the perfect shade of ivory for the bridesmaid dresses? She's beaming. This is Lindsay at her best. Warm, engaged, the woman I fell in love with after Claire died. The woman who stepped into our broken family and helped me raise Emma and Grace and Colton when I didn't think I could do it alone. That's wonderful, I say. Oh, and I wanted to tell you... She sits across from me, both hands on her belly now. Michael, I'm pregnant. The room tilts. I know, she continues, voice soft. I know we weren't trying, but I took the test yesterday and... She reaches into her purse, pulls out a white plastic stick with a digital window. Look, pregnant, clear as day. The test is dated March 8th. The digital readout still shows the word. She sets it on the table between us like a gift. Valentine's Day, she says, her eyes are shining. Remember? You came home early from the office and God's timing is always perfect, Michael. We prayed for this. Remember Valentine's Day? I remember Valentine's Day. We were intimate that night. It's possible. It has to be possible. But I also remember Bethany's printout, 32 Tuesday nights, 127 emails, Lindsay and Caleb. That's wonderful news, I say. The words feel like stones in my mouth. Lindsay stands, comes around the table, wraps her arms around me from behind. We're going to have a baby, Michael. Emma's getting married, and we're starting over. Our family is perfect right now, isn't it? I close my eyes. Yes, I say. Perfect. Ray meets me in my office that afternoon. Bethany is with him. They've spent the morning pulling security access logs from the church database, something we installed last year after a break-in. Every door, every keycard access, time stamped and recorded. Ray slides a printout across my desk. He's 61, been in ministry since before I was born. I've seen him handle everything: affairs, embezzlement, abuse allegations. He's never looked like this. Pale, almost sick. Michael, he says, I'm sorry. You need to see this. The security log is stark. Black text on white paper in neat columns. Building codes. A main sanctuary. B education wing. C youth building. Then dates, times, access codes. Lindsay's code appears 43 times in the youth building. Her personal access code. L. Shepherd. 1979. Times clustered around 9:10 p.m. Duration logged by when the door locked again. 2 to 3 hours later. Every Tuesday, Bethany says quietly, when you taught Bible study. Ray opens his laptop. The security cameras don't have audio, but they have video. His hands are shaking slightly as he pulls up the footage. I watched 8 clips. They're all the same. The screen shows the parking lot behind the youth building. Grainy night vision green, but clear enough. Timestamp. Tuesday, April 2nd, 9:17 p.m. Lindsay's car pulls up. I recognize it, her silver Honda, the one with Emma's Jesus Loves You bumper sticker. 2 minutes later, Caleb's truck. Dark blue, lifted suspension, the one he's so proud of. They both get out. Lindsay looks around, checking if anyone's watching. Then they walk to the building entrance together. The door opens. They go inside. Ray fast forwards. The timestamp blurs. 11:34 p.m. The door opens again. Lindsay exits first, walks to her car quickly, head down. 3 minutes later, Caleb follows. Different door, trying to look casual. There are 43 instances of this, Ray says. His voice is heavy, grieving. 43 Tuesdays since last October. Every week you led evening Bible study, Michael. Every single week. I can't speak. I'm watching the screen. My wife, my daughter's fiancé, entering a building alone at night. The emails, Bethany says. She's crying now. Pastor, I have to show you. She hands me a stack of printed pages. Email headers from lshepherdagracecommunity.org to cpierceagracecommunity.org. Subject lines: Ministry discussion. Tuesday session notes. Confidential. The early ones are professional. Lindsay discussing Caleb's leadership development, his preaching opportunities, his future in ministry. But the dates progress and the language shifts. March 15th. I can't stop thinking about our conversation last Tuesday. You understand me in ways M never has. March 29th. Can't wait for our next session. Don't tell M about the direction we're taking your ministry. April 12th. What we're building together. It's more than mentoring, isn't it? April 26th. I know this is complicated, but when I'm with you, I feel alive again. I stop reading. The pages slip from my hands onto the desk. Ray is watching me. Michael, there's no good way to say this, but the pattern is clear. The access logs, the emails, the footage. This has been going on for 7 months, I say. My voice doesn't sound like mine. Since before he proposed to Emma. The room is silent except for the clock ticking on my wall. Outside, I can hear the church lawnmowers, normal sounds, the world continuing while mine falls apart. What do? I ask. Not to Ray, not to Bethany, to God, maybe, to anyone who's listening. Ray's hand lands on my shoulder, heavy, solid, the weight of 25 years of friendship. First, he says, we find out the truth, all of it, and then, his voice cracks. Then you do what you've always done, brother. You tell the truth, whatever it costs. That night, I confront Lindsay in our home office. The kids are out, Emma at choir practice, Grace at seminary study group, Colton at basketball, just the two of us. I spread the evidence on the desk between us, the calendar printout with Bethany's highlighter marks, the security access logs, the stack of printed emails. "Lindsay," I say, "I need you to explain this." She looks at the papers. Her face goes white. "Michael, She sits down hard. "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." "Caleb needed mentoring," she says. Her voice is shaking, but there's something else underneath. Calculation, maybe. Figuring out what she can save. He's young, he's gifted, but he was struggling with leadership development. I was helping him, that's all. The Tuesday sessions were ministry, Michael, professional development. At night, I ask, alone, for 2 to 3 hours, 43 times. You were busy with Bible study. It was the only time that worked for both our schedules. I pick up one of the emails, read it aloud. "When I'm with you, I feel alive again." That's professional development? Lindsay's eyes fill with tears. We became close. That happens in mentoring relationships. There's intimacy in discipleship, Michael. You know that. But it wasn't, we never what? My voice is harder than I intend. Never crossed a line, never touched, never. No. She stands now, comes toward me. "Michael, listen to me. I love you. I love our family. Yes, I developed feelings for Caleb. I shouldn't have. It was wrong, and I'm sorry. But I never acted on them. It was emotional, not physical. And it's over now. I ended the mentoring sessions last month. It's done." She's crying fully now, reaches for me. I step back. "You're pregnant," I say. "Yes, with your child. From Valentine's Day. Michael, this baby is ours. You can't let suspicion. You can't let the enemy destroy what God is doing in our family." Her hand is on her belly, protective, almost defiant. "I need to see Dr. Sarah," I say. "The ultrasound, the medical records. I need to know the dates." Lindsay's face changes. Just for a second, a flash of something cold, then it's gone, replaced by hurt. "You're really going to believe a scheduling system over your wife?" she asks. "Over 8 years of marriage? I thought you were a man of faith, Michael. I thought pastors believed in grace." She picks up her counseling notebook from the desk. It's spiral-bound, floral cover, the one she uses for all her ministry work. Opens it to show me the early pages, neat notes about Caleb's leadership goals, scripture references, prayer requests. "This is what those sessions were," she says. "Look, professional, appropriate. I made a mistake getting emotionally close, but I didn't betray you, and I didn't betray Emma." She closes the notebook. The spiral wire makes that distinctive zing sound. "Now, if you'll excuse me," she says, voice cold, "I need to prepare my women's Bible study for tomorrow. I'm teaching about grace, about forgiveness, about trusting God when circumstances make us doubt." She walks out. I'm alone in the office, surrounded by evidence that says one thing while my wife swears another. I pick up her devotional book from the shelf, Grace in Waiting by Lindsay Shepherd. The cover is white with an embossed gold cross, smooth under my fingers. On the back, Lindsay's author photo smiles. Perfect hair, warm eyes, the picture of spiritual wisdom. 15,000 copies sold. Women across the country reading her words about patience, about waiting for God's best, about faithfulness in marriage. I open to chapter 7, The Gift of Waiting. Lindsay writes about how God makes us wait for the right things, how patience builds character, how shortcuts lead to destruction. I close the book. The sound echoes in the quiet room. God sees everything, I think. That's what I've always taught. God sees everything, and eventually, so do we. 2 days later, I'm in Dr. Sarah Pemberton's office. She's our staff counselor, has been for 6 years. Licensed therapist, also has her MD from her previous career. She's looking at Lindsay's ultrasound report with professional concern. "Michael," she says gently, "I want to be clear about what this medical document tells us." The report is on her desk. Standard medical paper, University Health Center letterhead, clinical measurements in neat rows. Lindsay showed it to me yesterday. Tried to use it as a proof that the baby is mine. Dr. Sarah runs her finger down the measurements. The ultrasound was done March 20th. It shows 10 weeks gestation. That's measured by the size of the embryo. It's very accurate at this stage, within 3 to 5 days. So conception was when? I ask. 10 weeks before March 20th. That puts us at mid-January, specifically around January 15th, give or take 3 days. I pull my conference badge from my pocket. I found it in my desk drawer yesterday, been carrying it since. Plastic lanyard, dates printed clearly. Chicago Pastors Leadership Summit, January 13th through 18, 2025. I was in Chicago, I say. The entire week, January 13th through the 18th. Dr. Sarah looks at the badge, then at the ultrasound report, then at me. Michael, she says, her voice very gentle. The math is definitive. This embryo was conceived when you were in Chicago. You couldn't have conceived this child. The room is very quiet. Lindsay and Caleb, I say. They both called in sick that weekend, January 15th through the 17th. I remember because I had to get someone to cover Sunday service. Sarah nods slowly. She's not surprised. She's bound by confidentiality. Can't tell me if Lindsay came to her for counseling, but her face tells me enough. I'm so sorry, Michael, she says. But medically, scientifically, there's no question. You weren't in the same state. You couldn't have fathered this baby. I'm holding the pregnancy test Lindsay showed me, the one dated March 8th. The digital window still says pregnant. But the date on the bottom, March 8th. That's when Lindsay took the test, not when the baby was conceived. She knew. The whole time she's been claiming Valentine's Day, showing me this test, talking about our miracle. She knew it wasn't mine. She knew it was Caleb's, and she was going to let me raise it. Let Emma marry him. Let this lie become our family's foundation. What do? I ask. My voice breaks on the last word. Sarah leans forward. Michael, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you this. You've spent 18 years teaching people about truth, about living with integrity even when it costs everything, about being real with God and each other. She pauses. Now you get to decide if you meant it. I leave her office holding the ultrasound report and the conference badge and the pregnancy test. 3 pieces of evidence that prove my marriage is a lie. 3 pieces of evidence that will destroy my daughter's world. 3 pieces of evidence that will change everything. In my truck, I sit in the parking lot. The church rises in front of me, Grace Community, the place I've poured my life into for 18 years. 4,200 people every Sunday. Emma leading worship. Lindsay directing women's ministry. Caleb preaching to youth. All of it built on the assumption that I'm telling them the truth about God. But what happens when I have to tell them the truth about us? My phone buzzes. Emma. Dad, just finished the final draft of my wedding song. Want to hear it tomorrow? I wrote it about finding Caleb, about God's perfect timing. I'm so happy I could cry. I close my eyes. God's perfect timing. I text back, can't wait to hear it, sweetheart. So proud of you. Then I drive home to a wife who's carrying another man's child, and a life that ended 3 days ago, even though no one else knows it yet. The premarital counseling session is scheduled for Tuesday afternoon. Emma and Caleb sit across from me in my office, holding hands, radiating that particular glow young couples have when they think they've found forever. I've done this hundreds of times, sat in this same chair, walked engaged couples through the foundations of marriage, communication, conflict resolution, spiritual leadership, sexual intimacy. I have a whole curriculum, 3 sessions, carefully designed to prepare people for the reality of covenant. Today I'm teaching session 2. The foundation of honesty. So, I say, opening my grandfather's Bible to 1 Corinthians 13. The leather creaks, the tissue-thin pages rustle under my fingers. Paul writes that love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. What do you think that means for your marriage? Emma leans forward. She's so beautiful, has her mother's eyes, Claire's gentle spirit. 26 years old, and she still looks at me like I have all the answers. It means no secrets, she says. Right, Dad? Like you always taught us. Truth is the foundation of everything. Without it, you don't really know the person you're with. I have to look away. Focus on the Bible. The words swim in front of me. That's exactly right, I manage. Caleb shifts in his seat. He's 29, charismatic, gifted speaker. I hired him 15 months ago to lead our youth ministry. Thought he was an answer to prayer. He's avoided looking directly at me since he sat down. Pastor Michael, he says, Emma and I have talked about this. We promise we'll build our marriage on truth. No secrets, no hiding. We want what you and Miss Lindsay have. That kind of partnership where you're completely known. The air leaves my lungs. Emma squeezes his hand. Caleb's been so supportive during my dissertation work. All those late nights in the lab, he never complained. He just, She looks at him with such trust. He just showed up every time. While sleeping with your stepmother, I don't say. While sending her emails about feeling alive when they're together. While conceiving a child that your stepmother is pretending is mine. That's beautiful, I say instead. The words taste like ash. There's music paper on the corner of my desk, Emma's wedding song. She left it here yesterday, handwritten on cream-colored staff paper, her delicate purple ink, coffee rings from late nights at the piano. The title is at the top, Faithful Love. I finished it, Emma says, noticing me looking. Dad, do you want to hear it? Of course, sweetheart. She picks up the pages, starts reading the lyrics aloud. Her voice is soft, musical, even when just speaking. You brought me through the waiting, through every prayer-filled night. You gave me love worth waiting for. My answered prayer, my light. I'll walk this aisle with grateful heart to the man you chose for me. Dad will place my hand in his the way that it should be. My throat closes. It's perfect, I whisper. Caleb is watching Emma with an expression I can't read. Guilt? Fear? Or is he really that good at pretending? Dad, Caleb and I promise. Emma's voice breaks with emotion, happy emotion. We promise we'll build our marriage on truth, just like you taught me. No secrets. That's what makes love real, right? I grip the edge of my desk so hard my knuckles turn white. Yes, sweetheart, I say. My voice is barely steady. Truth is everything. Never compromise on that. After they leave, I sit alone in my office for an hour. Emma's wedding song is still on my desk. I read the lyrics again. The man you chose for me. Dad will place my hand in his. I was going to walk her down the aisle in 3 weeks, give her away to this man, bless their union from the pulpit, while he carries the secret of sleeping with my wife, while my wife carries his child. Ray finds me there at 5 o'clock, takes one look at my face, and closes the door. How bad was it? He asks. She promised me, I say. She looked me in the eye and promised they'd build their marriage on truth, no secrets. Ray sits heavily in the chair Emma vacated. He's quiet for a long time. You're going to have to tell her, he says finally. I know. Soon. I know. Michael. He leans forward. Every day you wait is another day she's planning a wedding to a man who's been lying to her for almost a year. Another deposit made. Another promise to vendors. Another, I know! The words come out too loud. I lower my voice. I know, Ray. But how do I look at my daughter and tell her that her stepmother and her fiancé? I can't finish the sentence. Ray's phone buzzes. He looks at it, and his face changes. Michael, he says carefully. Grace is asking if you're still at the church. She says she needs to see you right away. She sounds... He pauses. She sounds upset. Grace arrives 20 minutes later. She's my middle child, 23, sharp as a knife, studying at seminary. She's always been the one who sees through people. Never bought Lindsay's performance the way Emma did. She's carrying Lindsay's spiral notebook. The floral cover looks wrong in her hands, too cheerful for the expression on her face. Dad, she says. She's been crying. I need to show you something. Ray and I exchange glances. Grace sits down, opens the notebook. Lindsay asked me to grab something from her car this morning, Grace says. Her voice is shaking. Her planner. But I found this instead, in the back seat. I wasn't trying to snoop, but... She stops, swallows hard. The first few pages are ministry notes, professional stuff about Caleb's leadership development. But then, she flips through the pages. Early entries are neat, organized, scripture references, prayer requests, the kind of notes any mentor would take. Then the handwriting changes, gets looser, more emotional, hearts appear in the margins. Grace finds the entry she's looking for. January 18th. Read it, she says. I take the notebook. The spiral wire is cold under my fingers. The pages smell faintly of Lindsay's perfume. I read aloud. January 18th. M is back from Chicago tomorrow. These 4 days with C have been, I can't even write it, perfect, wrong, perfect. We both know this can't continue, but neither of us wants to stop. He makes me feel young again, desired, like I matter as more than just Michael's wife or Emma's stepmother. My hands are shaking, I keep reading. January 29th. C proposed to Emma last night. I should feel guilty. I do feel guilty, but I also feel betrayed. How can he choose her? She's brilliant and beautiful and young, everything I'm not. But she doesn't understand him the way I do. She's buried in her lab. She doesn't see what I see. The next entry is worse. May 6th, I watched C and Emma together today at coffee hour. She was showing him something on her phone, both of them laughing. I wanted to scream. Emma has everything. Her saintly mother's legacy, the congregation's love, Dad's unconditional devotion. She's the favorite, always has been. Why does she get him too? I prayed about these feelings. Maybe God brought C into our lives for me, not her. Maybe she doesn't deserve him. Maybe I deserve something that's mine. Grace is crying silently. She was jealous, Grace says, of Emma. She went after Caleb because she was jealous of your daughter, Dad, her stepdaughter, the girl she's supposed to. Her voice breaks completely. Ray takes the notebook from my hands, flips through more pages, his face goes gray. Michael, he says, there are entries here all the way through April. She's writing about their Tuesday sessions, about hiding it from you, about... He stops. About the pregnancy, March 10th. She writes, the test is positive. I know it C's, the timing is exact. But Em and I were together on Valentine's Day. Close enough. He'll believe it's his. He'll never question it. He trusts me. The room is spinning. Grace stands abruptly. Dad, she didn't fall into sin. She hunted him. She calculated this. She was writing this while helping Emma pick out bridesmaid dresses, while planning the rehearsal dinner. While she can't continue, I'm remembering Lindsay at our kitchen table, glowing, showing me the pregnancy test. God's timing is always perfect. Crying when I question the dates, using my faith against me. I thought you were a man of grace, Michael. I need to see the emails again, I say. My voice sounds distant. The ones from January, around the conference. Ray already has them on his phone, pulls up the church email archive. January the 16th, while I was in Chicago. From lshepherdagracecommunity.org to cpierceagracecommunity.org. Subject, this weekend. Em thinks we're both sick. We have the whole weekend. Meet me at my sister's cabin. She's out of town. We need to talk about what this means, what we're building. I can't stop thinking about you. Reply from Caleb. This is wrong. Emma trusts me. Pastor Michael trusts me. But I can't. When I'm with you, everything else disappears. I'll be there by noon. Grace reads over Ray's shoulder. Her face hardens. She seduced him, Grace says. He's weak and ambitious and wrong, but she pursued this. She's the adult. She was his supervisor. She gave him that ministry grant, remember? $5,000 from her discretionary fund. She had power over his career. I remember the grant. February, Lindsay told me Caleb showed exceptional promise, deserved investment. I signed off on it without question. Dad, Grace says, her voice is fierce now, protective. She planned this. She targeted him. And now she's going to let Emma marry him while carrying his baby, while pretending it's yours. Dad, this isn't just an affair. This is evil, Ray finishes quietly. This is calculated evil. We sit in silence. The evidence surrounds us. Notebook, emails, security logs, ultrasound report. Every piece fitting together into a picture I can't unsee. My phone buzzes. Emma, Dad, Mom and I are finalizing the reception menu. She's being so helpful. I'm so grateful she's in our family. Love you. I set the phone down. I'm telling her, I say. This week, after Father's Day service, I'm telling Emma everything. Father's Day arrives too fast. The sanctuary is packed. All 3 services combined into one celebration. 4,200 people. Every seat filled. Cameras recording for the 800 watching online. The worship team on stage, Emma at the piano, and Caleb is scheduled to preach. I didn't know until this morning. It was arranged weeks ago. A Father's Day message from our youth pastor about spiritual fatherhood, about being men of integrity. Ray tried to cancel it yesterday, but Caleb insisted, said he'd already prepared, said it would look suspicious if he backed out. So here we are. I'm sitting in the back row. Grace is beside me, tense. Colton is on her other side, my 18-year-old son, who we told everything yesterday. He hasn't spoken since, just sits with his jaw clenched, radiating fury. Lindsay is in the front row. She's wearing a blue dress that shows her pregnancy now, 5 months, glowing. Several women around her keep touching her arm, congratulating her. She smiles, thanks them, rests her hand on her belly. Emma is at the piano, leading the final worship song. Her voice soars through the sanctuary, clear, pure. The congregation is on its feet. Then Emma sits down. The worship ends. Ray stands to introduce the sermon. This morning, Ray says, his voice carefully neutral, we're blessed to hear from Caleb Pierce, our youth pastor. Caleb will be speaking on integrity and spiritual fatherhood. Please welcome him. Applause. Caleb walks to the pulpit. He's wearing a suit, hair perfectly styled, 1,000-watt smile. He grips the edges of the pulpit, my pulpit, where 5 generations of my family have preached, and opens his Bible. Good morning, Grace community, he says. The microphone carries his voice to every corner, 800 people hearing it through their computers. Today I want to talk about integrity, about being a man of your word. Murmurs of amen ripple through the congregation. As I prepare to marry Pastor Michael's daughter, Emma, he gestures to where Emma sits, and she smiles up at him. I've been thinking about the example he's set, about what it means to be a man of integrity in a world that constantly tempts us to compromise. My hands are gripping the pew in front of me. Integrity, Caleb continues, means your private life matches your public face. It means you're the same person in the dark that you are in the light. It means... I stand up. The pew creaks. People near me turn to look. Grace grabs my arm, but I'm already moving. I walk down the center aisle, 4,200 people watching. Cameras recording. My footsteps echo. Caleb sees me coming. His voice falters. Pastor Michael, Caleb, I say. My voice is clear, controlled. The microphone isn't on, but in the shocked silence, everyone can hear me. Please step down from the pulpit, now! Gasps ripple through the sanctuary. Emma half stands at the piano. Dad? Lindsay has gone white. Caleb's hands are shaking. Pastor, I don't understand. Step down from the pulpit, I repeat. Ray will finish this service. You and I need to talk, immediately. The congregation is frozen. Some people have their phones out, recording. This will be all over social media in minutes. Caleb looks at Lindsay. She's staring at me, and I see the calculation in her eyes. She's trying to figure out how much I know, how much I'm about to say. Now, Caleb, he steps down, walks toward me. We exit through the side door into the hallway. Grace and Colton follow, blocking anyone else from coming. In the small office next to the sanctuary, I close the door. Caleb is breathing hard. Pastor Michael, he starts, whatever you think you know, I know everything, I say. My voice is ice. The Tuesday night sessions, the security footage, the emails, the weekend in January when you called in sick, when Lindsay called in sick, when you conceived a child together while I was in Chicago. Caleb stumbles backward like I've hit him. Emma doesn't know, I continue, yet, but she's going to. Because in 3 weeks I was going to stand at that altar and place her hand in yours. I was going to bless your marriage from the pulpit where my grandfather preached, where my father preached, where I've been preaching truth for 18 years. I pick up the Sunday service bulletin from the desk. This week's issue, the glossy trifold with our church logo. Inside, on page 3, is the wedding announcement, Emma Shepard and Caleb Pierce, July 14th, Grace Community Church. This bulletin, I say, holding it up, announces your wedding to my daughter. You were standing in that pulpit, my family's pulpit, talking about integrity, about being the same person in private that you are in public. I set the bulletin down. The paper makes a sharp sound against the desk. Get out of my office, I say. You're done here. Caleb's voice is shaking. Pastor, Lindsay said you'd understand. She said pastors believe in grace. She said, what did Lindsay say? I ask. That it was mentoring that got out of hand, that she pursued you, that you couldn't help yourself? He won't meet my eyes. She's 46, I say. You're 29. She was your supervisor. She had power over your career. And you... My voice breaks despite myself. You let my daughter fall in love with you while you were sleeping with her stepmother. You proposed to her 2 weeks after spending a weekend with Lindsay. You stood in her father's church and lied to her every single day. I love Emma, Caleb says. It sounds like he's trying to convince himself. Get out, I say. Pack your office. You're terminated for ethics violations, effective immediately. The board will send official notice this week. He stands there, frozen. Grace opens the door. You heard him? she says. Her voice is cold as winter. Get out before my brother comes in here. Caleb leaves. I sink into the chair. My hands are shaking. Grace kneels in front of me. Dad, she says, you did the right thing. I just destroyed the service, I say. 4,000 people watched me. They watched you choose truth, Grace says fiercely. That's what they needed to see. The next Sunday is worse. Emma doesn't know yet. I couldn't tell her after the Father's Day disaster. She was too confused, too hurt by what she saw. Caleb sent her a text saying he had a family emergency and had to leave town. She believes him, still trusts him. So she's leading worship today, like always. The sanctuary is even more packed than last week. News of my interruption went viral in the Christian community. People are curious, concerned, supportive, judgmental, all of it. Emma walks to the center of the stage. The lights catch her hair, so much like her mother. She sits at the piano. This morning, she says into the microphone, I want to sing something I wrote, a new song about faithfulness, about trusting God's timing, even when we don't understand what's happening. No, I think. Please, Emma, not now. But she's already starting to play. The opening chords fill the sanctuary. Then she sings, her voice like an angel. You brought me through the waiting, through every prayer-filled night. You gave me love worth waiting for, my answered prayer, my light. I'll walk this aisle with grateful heart. To the man you chose for me, Dad will place my hand in his, the way that it should be. The congregation is transfixed. Some people are crying. The melody is that beautiful, Emma's voice that pure. Lindsay is in the front row, hand on her pregnant belly, glowing in the attention, head tilted like she's worshiping, like she's grateful for God's blessings. I'm gonna be sick, Emma continues. Through every doubt and question, you proved your love was true. You taught me patience, taught me faith, and brought me safely through. Now standing at the altar, I'll take his hand in mine and thank you for your perfect will, your perfect love, your time. The song ends. The sanctuary erupts in applause. People are on their feet. Emma is crying happy tears. The worship team surrounds her, hugging her. Someone in the front row, I can't see who, is holding Lindsay's devotional book. Grace in waiting. They're waving it slightly, connecting the dots between the book's message and Emma's song. Lindsay sees it, smiles, nods gracefully, like she's responsible for this moment of beauty. Ray is standing to transition to communion. I'm supposed to help serve, but I can't move. Emma's song is still echoing. Dad will place my hand in his. In 2.5 weeks, I was supposed to walk her down the aisle, give her away to a man who betrayed her with her own stepmother, smile and bless them, while Lindsay, pregnant with his child, sat in the front row pretending it was mine. I stand. The movement is automatic. I walk to the front, take the communion elements from Ray, the bread, the cup. Ray is reading the liturgy, the body of Christ broken for you. I'm holding the bread. My hands are shaking so badly some of it falls. This represents his body broken for us, I hear myself say into the microphone. My voice sounds strange, distant. Truth and sacrifice. We don't take communion lightly, we don't take vows lightly, and we don't. My voice breaks. The sanctuary is silent. 4,200 people watching me fall apart. We don't. I try again. Can't finish. Ray is beside me, hand on my shoulder. Let me pray, brother, he says quietly. I step back. Ray takes over. I walk off the stage through the side door. In the hallway, I collapse against the wall. Grace finds me there, sits beside me without speaking. I can't do this, I whisper. I can't stand up there and pretend everything is fine. I can't lead them when my whole life is... Then don't, Grace says. Tell the truth. It's what you've always done. That night, I'm alone in the sanctuary at midnight. The lights are off except for the security lamps. The stained glass windows are dark. The pews are empty. I'm sitting in the front row, where Lindsay usually sits. My grandfather's Bible is beside me. I've been reading the family tree again. 5 generations of preachers. James Shepherd, 1921. Daniel Shepherd, 1973. Michael Shepherd, 1997. I was going to add Emma's wedding entry. Thought her marriage would be the next chapter in our legacy. The wedding live stream equipment is set up in the back. Cameras on tripods, microphones, control panel with blinking lights. everything ready to broadcast Emma's wedding to 800 people online. To make this moment public, permanent, recorded. 800 people watching online, 4,000 here, and I'm supposed to bless a lie. Ray finds me there. He must have known I'd come here. He sits beside me without speaking, just sits in the silence for a long time. I preached about truth in this pulpit for 18 years, I finally say. I told people to live with integrity even when it costs everything. I taught Emma that truth matters more than comfort, more than reputation, more than anything. You did, Ray says, and now I have a choice. I can stay silent, protect the church's reputation, save Lindsay's ministry career, let Emma marry Caleb and never know, keep everyone comfortable, keep the lie going. You could, Ray agrees, or I can tell the truth, destroy my marriage, risk the ministry I built, shatter my daughter's world, let 4,000 people watch me admit that I was deceived, that my wife betrayed me, that I failed to protect my own child. Yes, I look at Ray. His face is weathered, kind, sad. You've preached truth for 25 years, brother, he says. Now you have to live it, whatever it costs. And I'll tell you this, his voice gets firmer. The real church will stand with you. Not the people who want comfortable lies, not the ones who think pastors should be perfect, but the people who are hungry for authenticity, for integrity. For leaders who actually mean what they preach, they'll stay, they'll fight for you, because you're showing them what real faith looks like. I'm crying, silent tears running down my face. What if I lose everything? I ask. Then you'll lose everything, Ray says, but you'll keep your soul, you'll keep the truth, and you'll teach Emma the most important lesson of her life. That integrity matters more than comfort. That's a legacy worth having, Michael. He stands, offers me his hand. I take it. Come on, he says. Let's call an emergency board meeting. It's time. The board meets Tuesday night. 6 elders, the church attorney, Ray, and me. We're in the conference room with the door locked. I've laid everything on the table, literally. The security access log showing 43 late-night visits. The church email thread, 127 messages between Lindsay and Caleb. Lindsay's notebook with the jealous, calculated entries. The ultrasound report with the medical timeline, the calendar printout with 32 mentoring sessions, the Sunday service bulletins announcing a wedding that can't happen. The stack of evidence is 6 inches tall. Elder Thomas is the oldest, been on the board for 30 years. Silver hair, weathered hands from his construction business. He's reading the notebook entry from May 6th, the one about Emma having everything, about Lindsay deserving something of her own. He sets it down carefully, looks at me with tears in his eyes. Pastor Michael, he says, I'm so sorry. He stops, breathes. This is calculated predation. She's the senior staff member. She had power over his career, his ministry future, the $5,000 grant she gave him. That's a textbook abuse of authority. Elder Patricia picks up the security logs. She's a lawyer, sharp as glass. 43 late-night meetings over 7 months. The pattern is undeniable. And the pregnancy, she reads the ultrasound report. Medical records prove Pastor Michael couldn't have conceived this child. He was in Chicago. They were together. Elder Ruth is crying. She's known Emma since birth. That baby girl, she whispers. Emma has no idea. She's planning a wedding, writing songs about faithfulness, trusting. She can't finish. The church attorney, Mr. Harrison, 50 years old, handles all our legal matters, is making notes. This is grounds for immediate termination for both Dr. Shepard and Mr. Pierce. Sexual misconduct between staff members with power differential, misuse of ministry funds, violation of professional ethics. The church is protected legally. We'll need to make a brief public statement, but we can protect Pastor Michael's family privacy. Elder Marcus leans forward. The question is, what do you need from us, Pastor? I look around the table. These people have served with me for years, prayed with me, trusted me with their spiritual lives. I need to tell my daughter, I say. This week, before anyone else does, before it leaks. I need to tell Emma everything, show her the evidence, and let her decide how she wants to proceed with the wedding announcement. Of course, Elder Thomas says. And my voice breaks. I need you to know that I failed. I didn't see this happening in my own family, under my own roof. I preached about discernment and truth, and I was completely blind. Elder Thomas stands, comes around the table, puts his weathered hand on my shoulder. "Pastor Michael," he says, his voice firm, "in 30 years on this board, I've never seen a man choose truth at such cost. You're not being fired. You're not being asked to step down. You're being supported. Your wife betrayed you. Your daughter's fiancé betrayed her. But you're doing exactly what you've always taught us to do. You're living with integrity even when it destroys everything comfortable." He looks around the table. Every head is nodding. "You have our full support," he says. "We'll place Dr. Shepard and Mr. Pierce on immediate leave pending investigation. We'll authorize you to handle the situation as you see fit with your family, and we'll stand with you, whatever comes. Now," his voice breaks, "let's pray for your daughter. She's going to need all of us." They gather around me, 6 elders, a lawyer, my best friend, hands on my shoulders, my back, praying out loud. I'm crying again. But this time, it's different. This time, I'm not alone. Wednesday afternoon, my office door is locked. Emma sits across from me. Grace is beside her, holding her hand. Colton stands by the door like a guard. Ray is in the chair by the window, present but quiet. Emma knows something is wrong. I called her this morning, asked her to come, told her to bring Grace. She's been texting me all day. "Dad, you're scaring me." "What's going on? Is someone sick?" I wish it were that simple. "Emma, sweetheart," I say. My voice is steady. I've rehearsed this 100 times. "I need to tell you something, and it's going to hurt. I'm so sorry, baby girl, but I need you to listen all the way through before you ask questions. Can you do that?" Her face goes pale. "Dad, what?" "Please, sweetheart, just listen." She nods. Grace squeezes her hand. I open the folder on my desk, all the evidence organized chronologically. I've made copies. She needs to see it herself, needs to know this isn't just my word against theirs. "Lindsay and Caleb have been having an affair," I say. "It started last October. It's been going on for 10 months, since before he proposed to you." Emma makes a sound, half gasp, half sob. Grace's arm goes around her. "I know this because—" I slide the first document across the desk, the church scheduling calendar with Bethany's highlighter marks. They met every Tuesday night for 7 months, 32 times. While I taught Bible study downstairs, the security logs show them entering the youth building together, alone. For 2 to 3 hours. Emma is staring at the calendar. Her hand shakes as she touches the highlighted blocks. Orange, orange, orange. Week after week after week. "The church email system," I continue. Slide the stack across. 127 messages between them. Early ones are professional. By March, they're— I stop. Choose my words carefully. "They're intimate." Emma picks up one, reads it. Her lips move silently. Then she drops it like it burned her. "The baby Lindsay is carrying," I say. This is the hardest part. It's not mine. The ultrasound shows conception was mid-January. I was in Chicago the entire week, at the pastor's conference. Lindsay and Caleb both called in sick that weekend. They spent it together. I slide the ultrasound report across. The conference badge, the medical timeline Dr. Sarah prepared. "The math is definitive," I say gently. "I couldn't have fathered that baby. I wasn't even in the same state." Emma is shaking. Her breathing is getting faster. Grace is holding her, whispering, "I'm here, I'm here." "There's one more thing," I say. I hate this part, hate showing her, but she needs to know the whole truth. Lindsay's counseling notebook. Grace found it. The later entries show. I open it to May 6th, slide it across. Emma reads. I watch her face change as she processes the words. Emma has everything. Her saintly mother's legacy, Dad's devotion. Why does she get him too? I deserve something that's mine. Emma's voice is barely a whisper. She was jealous of me. She wrote this while we were planning the wedding, while we picked out flowers and cake, and she stops, looks at me. The song I wrote, she says, about God's perfect timing, about you placing my hand in his. Her voice breaks completely. I dedicated it to both of them at the concert last month. Everyone heard. The congregation, the live stream, everyone. How do I face anyone? Emma. I come around the desk, kneel in front of her, take her hands. You face them with your head high. You're the one who was betrayed. You're the one who lived with integrity. You're the one who trusted in good faith. This is not your shame. This is theirs." She's sobbing now. Grace is crying too. Colton has turned away, but his shoulders are shaking. Ray's voice quiet from the corner. "Emma, your father chose to tell you the truth rather than let you marry into a lie. That's love, real love, the kind that costs everything." Emma looks at me through tears. "You knew, at the counseling session, when I promised we'd build our marriage on truth. You knew and you—" "I couldn't tell you then," I say. "I had just found out. I needed to verify everything. I needed the board's support. My voice breaks. "I needed to be sure before I destroyed your world." She collapses into my arms. I hold her while she sobs. My daughter, my precious girl. 26 years old, and her heart is breaking in my office. After a long time, her crying slows. She pulls back, wipes her eyes. "What do I do?" she asks. "Whatever you need to do," I say. The wedding is canceled. The board has placed both Lindsay and Caleb on leave. I'm filing for divorce. But you decide how you want to handle this publicly. If you want to make a statement, if you want to stay silent, if you want to. "I want people to know," Emma says. Her voice is stronger now. "I don't want people to think I called off the wedding because of cold feet or doubt, or I want them to know the truth. Then we'll tell them," I say. I reach into my desk drawer, pull out a small velvet box. I've been carrying this for days, waiting for the right moment. There is no right moment. There's only now. I open it. Inside is a simple gold band, worn thin from years of wear. "Your mother wore this ring for 15 years, I say. My voice is thick with emotion. "When she died, I saved it for your wedding day. I was going to give it to you before you walked down the aisle." Emma is staring at the ring. "There's an inscription inside," I say. I take the ring out, hold it up to the light so she can see. "Truth and love, always. Your mother believed you couldn't have one without the other. That love without truth is just performance. That truth without love is just cruelty. But together," I have to stop, breathe. "Together, they make something real." I put the ring in Emma's hand, close her fingers around it. "You're living your mother's words, Emma. You chose truth even though it hurt. That's exactly who she was. That's exactly who you are. I'm so proud of you, sweetheart." Emma opens her hand, looks at the ring, reads the inscription through tears. "I just wanted what you and Mom had," she whispers, "what seemed real." "And you'll find it," I say. "Built on truth, not lies. That's what Mom would want. It's what I want for you." She slips the ring onto her right hand. It fits perfectly. "Thank you, Dad," she says. Then she stands, squares her shoulders. "Let's tell the church, this Sunday. Let's tell everyone the truth." Sunday morning, the sanctuary is packed again. News has spread that something significant is happening. The parking lot is full. People are standing in the back. Lindsay is not here. She moved to her sister's house on Thursday after I served her with divorce papers. Caleb left town Tuesday night, went back to Kentucky. His parents called me yesterday, horrified, apologetic, supportive. But Emma is here, sitting in the front row with Grace and Colton on either side of her, Ray beside them. My mother, Emma's grandmother Eleanor, flew in from Florida yesterday. Sits next to Emma, holding her hand. I'm in the small office off the sanctuary, preparing, praying. Ray knocks, enters. "They're ready for you," he says. "Michael," he pauses. "You don't have to do this. We could release a written statement. You could protect your privacy." "No," I say. "We preach about truth in this pulpit. Are we living it? I spent 18 years teaching these people about integrity, about being the same in private as you are in public. Now I get to show them what that actually costs." Ray nods. "Then let's do this." We walk out together. The congregation quiets as I take the stage. I don't go to the pulpit. That feels too formal. Instead, I stand at the front, microphone in hand, visible to everyone. "Good morning," I say. My voice is steady. I've rehearsed this, prayed over every word. "I need to speak with you before we worship this morning. Some of you have heard rumors. Some of you saw what happened on Father's Day. You deserve to know the truth." The sanctuary is completely silent, 4,200 people. 800 more watching online, all waiting. My wife Lindsay and my daughter's fiancé Caleb Pierce have been involved in an inappropriate relationship, I say. I'm not using their titles, Dr. Shepherd, youth pastor, just their names. It began last October and continued until I discovered it 2 weeks ago. Emma's wedding, scheduled for July the 14th, has been canceled. I can hear the gasps, see people's faces changing. Some are crying already. I want to be clear, I continue. Emma knew nothing. She is not at fault. She was betrayed by 2 people she trusted, her stepmother and her fiancé. She is here today because she chose to face this with her head high. Because she is a woman of integrity. I look at Emma. She's crying, but she nods at me. Permission to continue. Lindsay and Caleb have been placed on leave from their positions. The church board conducted an investigation. The evidence of their misconduct was overwhelming. They are no longer serving in ministry at Grace Community. Someone in the back shouts, "We're with you, Pastor." Others echo it. Applause starts, scattered at first, then building. People are standing. The congregation is on its feet. I raise my hand for quiet. "Please," I say. "This isn't about me. This is about—" I have to stop, breathe. This is about truth. I've preached about truth in this pulpit for 18 years. I've told you that integrity costs something, that living with real faith means being authentic even when it's uncomfortable, even when it reveals our failures. I look down at my hands, then back up at the congregation. I failed to see what was happening in my own family, I say. I failed to protect my daughter. I was blind, trusting, maybe too trusting. But what I won't do, what I can't do, is continue that blindness by pretending everything is fine, by covering this up to protect our reputation or my pride or the church's image. My voice gets stronger. The cost was my marriage and nearly my ministry, but truth matters more than our comfort. My children, Emma, Grace, and Colton, showed me what real faith looks like. They chose truth when it would have been easier to hide. And this church, you, right now, choosing to stay, choosing to support this family, choosing truth over scandal, that's the real church. I have to stop. The emotion is too strong. Ray is beside me, hand on my shoulder. We're going to worship this morning, I say. We're going to take communion. We're going to remember that God's grace is sufficient even when our lives fall apart. And we're going to keep preaching truth, whatever it costs, because that's what we're called to do. I step back. The congregation is standing, applauding again. Many are crying. Emma stands, turns to face them. They're applauding for her too. Ray steps forward. "Let's pray," he says. "And then let's worship the God who gives us courage to tell the truth." The weeks that follow are hard, but not in the way I expected. Lindsay sends legal papers through her attorney, wants the divorce finalized quickly. I don't fight her. Our prenup protects the church assets. She moves to Memphis, eventually takes an adjunct teaching position at a small Bible college there. I hear through mutual friends that her publisher quietly pulled Grace in Waiting. The Amazon reviews flooded in once word got out. 1-star ratings. How could she write about faithfulness while betraying her family? Caleb resigns officially. Moves back to Kentucky. Stays with his parents. They call me again. His mother Mary, his father Robert. They're retired teachers, kind people, horrified by their son's actions. "Pastor Michael," Mary says, crying on the phone, "we're so sorry. We raised him better than this. We taught him." She can't finish. "I know," I say, "and I forgive him. Not because he deserves it, but because I need to, for my own sake." There's a long pause. Then Mary says something unexpected. "The baby," she says, "Lindsay's baby. It's our grandchild. We'd like to, if she's open to it, we'd like to talk about adoption. My daughter Anna lives in Atlanta. She's a nurse. She's 39, single by choice, always wanted a child, but..." Mary stops. "She can't have children naturally. But if Lindsay would consider..." I'm quiet for a long moment. "That's a good solution," I finally say. "A loving home. Family, even if complicated family. Let me have my attorney connect with Lindsay's attorney. Let's see if we can give this baby the best outcome possible." And somehow, it works. Lindsay agrees. Anna flies to Memphis, meets with Lindsay. They arrange a private adoption. Open arrangement, Anna will send updates, maybe visit someday when the child is older. But the baby will have a home with a woman who desperately wants to be a mother, who has the means and the heart to do it well. It's not perfect, but it's good, and good is enough. Emma takes 3 months off from worship leading. The church understands. Ray leads music, brings in guest worship leaders. The congregation rallies around her. Meals, prayers, cards, support. She stays with me for the first month. We have long conversations in the evenings. She processes, grieves, heals. One night, about 6 weeks after the announcement, she comes into my study. I'm preparing Sunday's sermon. She sits in the chair across from my desk. "Dad," she says, "I rewrote the song." "Which song?" "The wedding song. Faithful Love. I can't sing those lyrics anymore. They're tainted. But I kept the melody, changed the words. It's called Truth in Broken Places now." She hands me the sheet music. The same cream-colored staff paper, her delicate purple ink. But the lyrics are different. "You brought me through the fire. Through every shattered dream you taught me that your love is more than what it seems. I'll walk this path with honest heart, though scarred by what has been, and trust you're making something beautiful again." My eyes blur with tears. "It's perfect," I whisper. "I'm going to sing it next Sunday," Emma says. "If that's okay, I'm ready to come back." 6 months later, December. The baby is born, a girl, 7 pounds, healthy. Anna sends photos, tiny fingers, dark hair, beautiful. Names her Claire, after Emma's mother. "If that's okay," Anna writes, "she's part of your family too, even if it's complicated." Emma cries when she sees the photos, but they're good tears. "Aunt Anna will be a good mom," Emma says. "Better than—" She stops, doesn't need to finish. Christmas Eve service. The sanctuary is decorated with candles, white flowers, evergreen, the smell of pine and wax. 4,000 people here to celebrate the birth of another baby. One born in truth, in light, in a stable. Emma leads worship. She sings Truth in Broken Places. The congregation joins in by the second chorus. Many of them are crying. It's become an anthem for us, for everyone who's had to rebuild after betrayal, after loss, after truth-shattered comfortable lies. After service, Emma finds me in my office. She's glowing, different than before, stronger, deeper. "Dad," she says, "there's someone I want you to meet." A young man is with her, nervous, polite, 28, maybe 29, wearing a sweater and jeans. "This is Marcus," Emma says. "He's our new sound engineer, started in September. He came because—" She smiles. "He told me he was looking for a church that was real, that didn't pretend to be perfect. He heard about what happened, and he said, 'That's the kind of place I want to be.'" Marcus extends his hand. "Pastor Michael? It's an honor, sir. Your daughter—" He looks at Emma with something in his eyes I recognize, something genuine. "She's been showing me around, helping me get settled. We've been talking. A lot." "Just talking," Emma says quickly, then she laughs. "For now." I shake his hand. "Welcome to Grace Community, Marcus." After they leave, Ray finds me. We're alone in the sanctuary. The candles are still lit, throwing soft light across the pews. "She's going to be okay," Ray says. "Better than okay," I agree. "She's stronger now, more real." "Because you showed her," Ray says. "You chose truth when lies would have been easier. You showed all of us." I'm quiet for a long time. Then I walk to the pulpit. Run my hand along the smooth wood. This is where my grandfather preached. My father, me, 5 generations. I open my grandfather's Bible. It's been sitting here, waiting. The family tree is inside the front cover. I pull out a pen. Emma's wedding entry was supposed to go here, but instead, I write something different. Emma Shepherd, 2025, worship leader, woman of truth, chose integrity over comfort, survived betrayal, emerged stronger. The legacy continues. Ray reads over my shoulder. "Not as someone's wife," he says quietly. "No," I agree. "As herself. That's the real legacy." January. Morning light through stained glass. I'm in the sanctuary at dawn, like I was that morning Bethany found me with the calendar printout. 6 months ago, a lifetime ago. But I'm not alone this time. Emma joins me, sits in the pew beside me. The morning is quiet except for the sound of our breathing, the church settling around us. I used to think God's timing meant everything would work out the way I planned, Emma says. That waiting meant I'd get what I wanted. And now, I ask? Now I think God's timing means I get what I need. Truth, growth, real love, not performance. Even if it hurts first. She picks up the grandfather's Bible from the pew between us, opens it to the family tree, sees her name there, freshly written, traces it with her finger. You added me, she says. Not as Caleb's wife, just me. You earned your place in this family tree by choosing truth, sweetheart. That's the real inheritance. That's what your great-great-grandfather and your grandfather and your grandmother Claire all passed down. Not perfection, truth. Emma is quiet for a moment. Then she says, You taught me that some truths hurt, but are still necessary, Dad. I'm grateful for the hurt and the truth, for both. Your mother believed that, I say. My voice catches. Now you do too, and that makes everything worth it. We sit together as morning light fills the sanctuary. The stained glass throws colored shadows across the pews. Red, blue, gold, green. In a few hours, 4,000 people will fill these seats. Emma will lead worship. I'll preach. Ray will make terrible jokes during announcements. Life will continue, but right now, it's just us. Father and daughter, broken and healing, honest and real. Through the window, I can see the parking lot filling up. People arriving for early prayer meeting. Staff members unlocking doors. The church waking up for another Sunday. Emma stands. I should get to sound check. Marcus wants to run through the new song one more time. She pauses at the end of the pew, looks back at me. Dad? Yes, sweetheart? Thank you, she says, for choosing us over comfort, for choosing truth over your reputation, for showing me what real love looks like, the kind that protects by telling hard truths, not by hiding behind easy lies. She walks toward the stage. I watch her go, my daughter, stronger for having been broken, more beautiful for having been real. The live stream equipment is being set up in the back, cameras, microphones, blinking red lights, ready to broadcast our service to 800 people online, to make our worship public, visible, recorded. But this time, I'm not afraid of what they'll see, because we're not hiding anymore. We're not performing perfection. We're just real, broken and healing and honest and real. I pick up my grandfather's Bible, run my hand over the cracked leather. Think about 5 generations of preachers who stood in this pulpit and told the truth, whatever it cost. The legacy isn't perfection. It never was. The legacy is truth, even when it shatters everything comfortable, even when it costs everything you've built, even when it leaves you standing in the ruins of your old life, holding nothing but your integrity. Especially then. I walk toward my office to finish preparing my sermon. As I leave the sanctuary, I hear Emma's voice through the sound system. She's warming up, practicing scales. Then she starts singing. You brought me through the fire, through every shattered dream. Her voice fills the empty sanctuary, clear, pure, true. And I smile, because that's what real faith sounds like. Michael and Emma redefined what family means. Not who you're born to, not the vows people make, but who shows up with truth when it matters most, who chooses your good over their comfort, who loves you enough to break your heart with honesty rather than let you build your life on lies. If you've built your own chosen family around honesty and real love, tell me about them in the comments. I want to hear those stories. And if this story moved you, if it reminded you why integrity costs everything and is worth everything, subscribe. I tell stories about people who choose truth when lies would be easier. I'll see you in the next one.